Tom Brady again.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like Tom Brady in practice all the time, so it's kind of unusual to see that in the ball game because they didn't do the things that we didn't get ready for. Everything they did, we thought we were ready for. We got some wide receivers had to do a better job of winning one-on-one when he decides to go their way, and he put us in the right run checks a couple of times, so it was a learning experience that way. Can't say that we were out of sync because we started out as good as you could start out, going right down the field. Then we don't get any more chunk plays other than pass interference penalties, and so yeah, I think it's a great learning experience. It's just round one of a 16-round fight, and we'll learn from it.
But I mean, when you have guys that change teams like this, and I mean, Peyton tried to do it. I mean, it's not just going to be automatic, right? I mean, there is a process to this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where all that verbiage when you're under the gun is different, and now you're getting hit for the first time too. So it's all different.
Thanks.
Okay, next is going to be Mark Cook.
Hey, Coach. Donovan Smith had a series there in the second quarter where he got kind of beat on a run play, which lost you 3 yards, then gave up a sack, then gave up another sack late in the game. How disappointing was the play of Donovan Smith, with him going into his 6th season? And what can you do to correct those things? Is it just hope he's better next week?
Yeah, I was very disappointed in his play. I think every now and then he reverts back to some techniques that aren't very good, and he got beat. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, he had probably the easiest guy to block up there, and he did a poor job. It's one of his poorer games, and expect for him to bounce back this week. Yes.
Thank you.
Next is going to be Greg Allman.
Hey, Bruce, I just want to ask you about the field position game. You guys had 13 drives, and none of them started better than the 25 going out. I think they had 3 drives that started in your territory. Obviously, that starts with turnovers, but it seemed in terms of field position from special teams, they were able to do a lot more to control that.
Yeah, when you look at the drive start, ours was 18, there was a 42. That's huge advantage. And special teams did have a big part of that, as did the turnovers. So we got to do a better job of tackling on punt returns when we're punting the ball. And we were getting down there pretty good, but we were just missing tackles. We gave up, I think they had 14-yard average on returns, and that put them over the 50 twice. And we got to do a better job of punting the ball and better job of covering and tackling.
Bruce, when you look at your third downs, I think you guys went 5 for 5 on 3rd and 1, got it done there, but didn't convert a third down longer than that. That's such a crucial down. Is that an area where it's just, again, getting people used to each other, or what went wrong in the longer third downs that you saw?
A few of those, guys have to win one-on-one. We didn't do a good job of winning one-on-one. We didn't find the guys that were open. So we'll do a better job and continue to grow in that direction.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, next is going to be Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, we talked about special teams all last week, and we talked about how good the Saints are in that category, and then it happened. How disappointing was it for you, considering that it was an issue last season?
Yeah, it was very disappointing, to get that field goal blocked. Our operation time was a little slow, but again, we let penetration over the right guard. And that's very disappointing because you never expect that to happen. The muff kickoff, I mean, that's just ridiculous. You never back up in that situation. And, guys are out there for the first time. You still don't anticipate that happening when they've been coached not to. But, we got to get it corrected, that's for sure.
Okay, next is going to be Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach. Did you, in watching the tape, did you figure out what happened there with Jamel Dean on that long pass that he surrendered to Jared Cook there late in the game?
That was not Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean was rolled up. He was a cloud corner. The safety, we were in cover 2, and the safety bit an inside route, which can't happen. And so it was not Jamel Dean at all.
Okay, thank you. And also, how would you assess, I know you mentioned Donovan Smith already, how would you assess Tristan Wirfs' performance? Tall task going against the likes of that pass rush.
No, I thought he played really well for his rookie against the All-Pro. I mean, you knew he was going to get beat once maybe, but offside penalty, I didn't like that. But he battled hard, and his run blocking was really good.
Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Casey Hudson.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to get your thoughts on positives and negatives that you saw with the run game yesterday.
Well, I thought Rojo was a very positive. I thought and Leonard, they both ran the ball well. Negative, we did not block our tight ends did not block the edge very well, and that was a big part of our game plan, and we got beat at it. We were out physical, and I thought our defense was more physical than their offense, but their defense was more physical than our offense, and we can't allow that to be happen.
Do you
Next is going to, sorry, go ahead, Casey.
Oh, sorry. Do you feel confident in how Leonard Fournette, like his progress with how quickly he came to the team and to play yesterday, and what do you expect to see with him in this coming Sunday's game?
I think his role will continue to increase. Rojo, I thought, had a really decisive day. Ran hard, and made yards when there were no yards to be made a couple of times. So, Leonard's role will increase, and we'll just see how much.
All right, next is going to be Greg Allman.
Hey, Bruce, there was a play early on where LaShawn McCoy ran into a pile in the middle, and it looked a bit like Cam Jordan had come in and almost thrown a punch onto the top of the pile. I don't know if you saw that. Looked like Ryan Jensen certainly took exception to it.
Yeah, I saw it vividly, and he said he was trying to punch the ball out, was his answer to the referee. But yeah, I think Ryan stood in there and took care of his business pretty good.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.
All right, next is going to be John Ledyard.
Bruce, I know you said on that first interception that it was on Tom Brady, not looking in the right spot maybe, but it looked like on the tape that middle of the field was open and Mike Evans maybe should keep that route going toward the middle of the field. What were your thoughts on that after seeing it on tape?
No doubt. It wasn't covered two. It was more of a quarters coverage, and Mike should have been splitting and going down the middle and never stopping.
Thank you.
All right, next is Rick Stroud.
So, Bruce, we know Tom was disappointed after the game yesterday. This will be the first time you guys will take this game right and try to get better from it. But what was his overall demeanor afterwards when you talked to him today? If you did, how is he adjusting to what was not a Brady-like performance?
Yeah, I think he's had it before. I mean, he knows how to bounce back, and he knew he didn't play very well, and it's not what he expects from himself. Nor do we expect. So I would anticipate him to have a little more grit and a little more determination this week.
We know you, and it's not a surprise to us, but I guess nationally some people are surprised that you would be very honest and say this is a bad throw by Tom or what have you. I mean, doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. You're going to evaluate him like that after a game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. If you're throwing an out route, you don't throw it low and inside. And that hasn't been the case up until that one. It was a little bit late on it, and probably a better decision to go somewhere else with the ball.
Nice.
All right, the last one's going to come from Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, I assume you're quite pleased with the overall play of Carlton Davis. He was matched up quite a bit with a record breaker in Thomas, and he caught 3 balls for 17 yards. But Bruce, he did have the face mask penalty, which factored in on that long towering kickoff. So how do you evaluate Davis?
I thought 2 plays for him. The rest he played an outstanding game. Other than they ran we call it Jerry Rice motion. He comes over, goes back, and he missed the tackle and got the face mask. The others, one he had him covered really well, Michael Thomas really well, and he still had his back arm around him when he batted the ball up and we got the interception. But other than those 2 plays, I thought he played great.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.